Germany. All right, Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and good Shabbos. All right, there we go. We got the Maury and Suzanne here, and they're just warming up. And also, Chag Sameach, we are in the sixth day of Hanukkah. We had the candles lit this evening, and we're up to 6, so only 2 more days left. But I'll tell you, the weather today and yesterday here in Huntington did not feel like Hanukkah weather. It felt more like Purim weather. It was, yesterday was in the 60s. And today, it wasn't, I don't think it was as warm as yesterday, but it certainly wasn't cold. And blue skies and sunshine and no breeze. So I was out today walking and running some errands. I guess I was out doing errands, and it was beautiful. Just an absolutely gorgeous day to be out walking. But here we are, Hanukkah day number 6. And so it's also Rosh Chodesh. So I should add Chodesh Tov to the listing. So if this were a normal Shabbat, unfortunately, in the age of COVID, nothing is normal. Tomorrow, during the Torah service, you would see not 1, not 2, but 3 Sifrei Torah come out of the ark, and 3 different Torah scrolls would be read. The Shabbat Parsha, the Parsha for Rosh Chodesh, and the special section for Hanukkah. So it's one of 2 times during the year that you would possibly see 3 Sifrei Torah, 3 of the 3 Torah scrolls come out. And it has to fall, right when it's Shabbat and Hanukkah, which always happens. There's always at least 1 Shabbat in Hanukkah. And it's Rosh Chodesh, which doesn't always fall every year on the Shabbat of Hanukkah. But when it does, 3 Sifrei Torah. 3 Sifrei. But and Hallel. We have Hallel as well. All right, let's get ready to welcome Shabbat. Suzanne, what do you think? Would you like to Ben Schlicht for us?
Unless somebody else wants to.
Anybody can who's here, but I think you beat them up. And our reading is on page 3, and the blessing is on page 2.
Okay. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you. All right. It is Kabbalah Shabbat, and so we'll have another English reading today. Let's go turn to page 6, and we'll read responsively on page 6. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship.
May it welcome all who cares to learn, thanks to express, hopes to nurture.
May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
May the synagogue be for all, the doorway to richer.
All right, we're going to continue as we welcome Shabbat as it comes to us this evening on page 20 and 21 with Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nikabela, Shamor b'zachor b'dibor echad, Ishmi'anu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad ushmo echad, L'shem ol tiferet v'li tchila, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor ha'bracha, merosh mikedem nehesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, mikdah hashmelech ir melucha, Kumitze'i mitoch hafecha, Rav lahak shevet b'yemecha b'cha, V'hu yachamol alayich chemla, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, Hitnahari me'afar kumi, Livshi bigdei tifartecha mi, Al Yad ben Ishai Beit Lachmi, Korva el Nafshi Gehala, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, Hitorari, Kumi bigdei tifarte. I'm sorry, I dropped the line. I apologize. Back up to 5. Hitorari, ki va ore kumi ori, shir daberi, kavod Adonai alayich nigla, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, lo tevoshi v'lo tikol mi, Mahatish tochachi umatemi, bach yechesu aniyehe ami, v'nihivneta ir altila, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, v'hayu l'shimsa shosayich, v'rahachaku kol mevalayich, Yasi salayich Elohayich, ki himsos chatan al kala, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, yamin usmol tifrotzi, v'et Adonai taharitzi, al yahadish ben partzi, V'nihi smecha v'nagila, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, boi v'shalom ateret bala, gaham b'simcha uvtzohala, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Let's turn the page to 22, and we'll read some verses from Psalm 92, which is the Psalm for Shabbat. And when we'll read the English outdented paragraph together, and then we will sing Tzadik Katamar. A psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, with a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai, how very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. Tzadikatama yifrach ke'erez balvanon yihiske shetulim beveit Adonai bechatrot Eloheinu yafrichu O Jinuvun Veseva Shenim Vera'ananim Yihiyu Lehagid Ki Ashar Adonai Tzuri Velo avlatabo. Page 24, Shalom Aleichem, the traditional greeting the Jews offer to each other, Shalom Aleichem, and the response is Aleichem Shalom. But tonight we're saying Shalom Aleichem, not necessarily just to each other, but to the angels that come to spend Shabbat with us. Top of page 24, Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Seitchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. We'll bring Kabbalah Shabbat to an end with Mourner's Kaddish, and you'll find that on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach hiruteh, v'yamlik malchuteh, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shmei t'kudashah b'richu le'elam min kol birchata b'shirata tushbachata b'nechamata da'amiram v'yalma v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shloma Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. All right, we are going to jump ahead to page 146. We have welcomed Shabbat. We have put the week behind us and now have entered into the peacefulness that is Shabbat. And we're on page 146, the beginning of the Arvit, the evening service for Shabbat. Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Vaed. Page 147. Let's read responsively these verses in English. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom.
Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish like a sobbing in your dreams.
Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. Page 148, the second blessing before the Shema. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shofbenu uvkumeinu, nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, le'olam v'ed. Ki heim chayenu v'orech yameinu, uvahem nehege yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu li'olamim, baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol lavavcha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol meodecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, B'shivtecha b'beitecha, uvlektecha v'derech, uv'shokbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam le'ohot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvihisharecha. Leman tizakru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ahani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 151. Let's read responsively in English. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet that oneness eludes our grasp. Its imperfection evil within.
Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil in our great right heart. There is good is also so.
When will redemption come?
When we claim for ourselves.
Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
So we celebrate this power that makes for freedom.
Top of page 152. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nohora tehilot, O Sefele, Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, Bokeyam lifnei Moshe, Zeli anu v'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, V'nemar kifad Adonai et Yaakov, Uga'alo miad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. the second blessing after the Shema, the Hashkivenu, and we'll sing the first two lines together, and then we'll read the English together. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei suchat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Top of page 154, verses from the book of Exodus. It's not Shabbos without it. Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti liolam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'et ha'aretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. We are at the central prayer of the evening service, the Amidah, and we're going to chant 155, 156, and 157 together, and then we're going to go silent for the rest of the prayer. A couple insertions this evening, so if you're following along in a siddur, we have to add Yale V'Yavo, and that is on 161 in the siddur. It's in the middle of the Amidah where it says Rosh Chodesh, Pesach, and Sukkot. This is for Rosh Chodesh. The English is on the next page. After the Modim section, 264, you'll jump ahead to for the blessing for Hanukkah, and then you'll come back to 163 to finish off the Amidah. A little bit of jumping around tonight because it is Shabbat, it is Rosh Chodesh, and it is Hanukkah. All right, but we're going to begin together on 155. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Koneh HaKol V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Goel Livnei B'neihem Leman Shemo B'Yahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magin Baruch Atah Adonai Magin Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye Metim Atarav L'Hoshia Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed V'Mechaye Metim B'Rachamim Rabim Sohomech Noflim V'Rofech Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekahayehem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Baal Gevuro Umidol Mehelach Melech Meimit Umechahayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'nemanata L'Hachayo Meitim Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayei Ametim.
still completing your Amidah, please continue at your own pace. Let's read together on page 160 in the English. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Top of page 162. Our God and God of our fathers and our mothers, be truly mindful of us and all your people, Israel, on this first day of the new month, and renew us in love and compassion, goodness, life, and peace. This day, remember us for well-being. Amen. This day, bless us with your nearness. Amen. This day, help us to a fuller life. Amen. All right. It's a little bit of hoda'ah. We're in that section of the Amidah for a little bit of thanksgiving, a little bit of recognizing the good, gratitude, right? Hakarat hatov. And lots to be thankful for this week. Well, we're in the midst of Hanukkah. And so I got to light candles with a wonderful group of people these last 6 nights on Zoom, and got to see cute kids and wonderful individuals who don't live in our community anymore. And so they were able to check in with us. And so that's lovely. Not that they don't live with us in this community anymore, but they were able to check in with us. And the weather has been absolutely delightful. And I'm enjoying the weather. So I'm very, very grateful for that. So I'm sure that all of you have things for which you are grateful this week. And again, as I say every week, it doesn't have to be a big ticket item. It could be something just, I don't know, your favorite basketball team won, Marshall won, and you're a big Marshall fan. So, that's something to be grateful for. And so top of 163, let's read responsively. For the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks. For the desire in us, which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful. All right, so I'm gonna jump ahead to 264 and 265, and the Al Hanisim piece, 264 and 265. Al Hanisim v'al haporkan v'al hagevurot v'al tishuot v'al hamilchamot shasita lavotenu v'imotenu b'yamim hahem b'zman hazeh. We thank you for the miracles, for the redemption, for the mighty deeds and saving acts brought about by you, and for the wars which you waged for our ancestors in the days of old at this season. In the days of the Hasmoneans, Mattathias ben Yochanan, the high priest, and his children, when the evil government of Greece rose up against your people, Israel, to make them forget your Torah and to make them leave the laws of your will. In your great mercy, you rose up with them in their time of trouble and fought in their fight, judged their cause just. You delivered the mighty into the hands of the weak, the many into the hands of the few, the unclean into the hands of the pure, the evil into the hands of the righteous, and the arrogant into the hands of those who engage in your Torah. For you made a great and holy name in your world, and for your people Israel, you brought about the great triumph and redemption on that very day. And when your children came to the Holy of Holies and emptied your temple and purified your holy place and lit candles in your holy courts and established these 8 days of Hanukkah, grateful to acknowledge and to praise your great name. Let's close out the Amidah with Shalom Rav, way back on page 164. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki atahu melech adon L'chol hashalom, ki atahu melech adon, l'chol hashalom. Shalom rahav al Yisrael amcha, Tasim leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim leolam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Go ahead, jump ahead to page 253 for Debbie Friedman's version of Mishaberach. Mishaberach Avotenu Mikor habracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We are going to turn to pages 258 and 259 for the prayers for our community. And Suzanne, would you like to lead us in the prayer for our congregation?
Sure. Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us: love of Torah, devotion in prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy.
Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadcha b'yira na'avod. All right, for our country. Mark?
Thus says Adonai, that is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry, and take the rich and poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing, and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness.
Thank you. The prayers for Israel. Sha'alu shalom Yerushalayim, yishlayu ohavayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Avinu Shabashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reishit Smichat Geulatenu. Hagein Aleha B'Yevrat Chasdecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Orcha V'Amitecha L'Rosheha, Soreha V'Yoetzeha, V'Takneim V'Eitza Tova Milfanecha, V'Natata Shalom Ba'aretz, V'Simchat Olam Liyoshveha, V'Nomar Amen. David, would you lead us in the English of that, please?
O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope. for all who seek peace. Shielded beneath the wings of your love, spread over the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there.
Amen. Thank you all.
You're welcome.
All right, friends. Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos and Chodesh Tov and Chag Sameach. All three of those. And the order is a particular order, right? So we say in Judaism, whatever you do most, you do first, right? So when you're putting on tallis and tefillin, say on a weekday morning, you put the tallis on just about every day of the year, but you don't put tefillin on during Shabbat or holidays. And so you make the blessing of the talit before you but you put the talit on before you put on the tefillin. And so when you are saying when a festival or something coincides with Shabbat, because we do Shabbat every week and we don't do the festival every week, Shabbat takes precedence. And so it's whatever you do more. So Shabbat, Rosh Chodesh, because we have 12, sometimes 13 Roshei Chodeshim during the year. And we only have one Hanukkah during the year, and that's enough, right? One Hanukkah is enough. So it's Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh, and the Chag. So we're in Parshat Miketz. We're continuing Yosef's adventure in Mitzrayim, or right now it seems like a misadventure in Egypt. It's 2 years after we left him. So last week he was in prison after Potiphar's wife had accused him of some shenanigans, and two people had dreams, the cupbearer and the baker, both in Pharaoh's employ, and they had dreams and nobody could interpret them, but Joseph did, and the dreams came true. The baker was hanged and the cupbearer was put back in his position. And so as he's leaving, Joseph says, "Don't forget me." But guess what happens? The cupbearer forgets him. And so Joseph spends 2 years in prison. But at the end of those 2 years, Pharaoh has a series of dreams, right? In which, let's see, the seven thin sheaves eat the seven, I'm sorry, is it that way? I can't remember which one came first. Pharaoh has a dream in which sheaves eat sheaves and skinny cows devour fat cows. And nobody can interpret them. His magicians, his psychics can't help him. And so the cupbearer remembers Yosef and says to Pharaoh, "Hey, give this kid a call and see what he can do." So Yosef interprets the dreams and he says to Pharaoh, "You're going to have 7 years of plenty, and then you're going to have 7 years of famine. And, get ready for it." And so Pharaoh puts Joseph in charge of the land so that they can prepare for these years. And during this time, Joseph marries, and he has 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, who are wonderful, wonderful sons. The only 2 brothers in the book of Genesis who get along. Right? I mean, we've had Cain and Abel, we've had Jacob and Esau, we've had Isaac and Ishmael, Jacob and Esau, Joseph and his brothers. Manasseh and Ephraim are the only brothers who get along in the book of Genesis. The famine hits after the 7 years, and Yaakov sends his sons down to Mitzrayim to get food. And when they get there, Yosef recognizes them. Right? I mean, I guess it wouldn't be that hard. There's 10 of them that show up speaking Hebrew, right? So it's, not too difficult, but they don't recognize him. He has changed. He's not the the little kid that was, he's not the 17-year-old tattling to dad. He's now, what is it? It's at least 7, almost, it's at least 10 years. And so, they don't recognize him, and he speaks harshly to them, right? He's gonna give them a little what for here, right? Because of what they did to him. So he's gonna get he's gonna exact a little vengeance here. And he accuses them of spying, right? Which is not something in the ancient world that you wanted to be accused of, because, it never ends well for spies. And they tell him, look, we're 10 brothers. We're sons of an old man. We were 12. Our youngest brother is with our father, and one is no more. And it's ironic that Yosef is hearing them say, and one is no more. And that one is very much more. He's standing right in front of them. He calls them spies again and throws them in jail for 3 days. While they're in jail, right, the Torah recounts their conversation, and Reuven, the firstborn, says, you know what? God is punishing us. This is for what we did to Yosef, right? There's no doubt in my mind. We are getting punished for what we did to Joseph. And Joseph overhears this, but he pretends not to understand their language, right? Because if he's like, oh, wow, you guys speak Hebrew too? So do I. The gig is up, right? So he just pretends he doesn't understand what they're saying. He frees them. He lets them loose, but then he says, you know what? You're going to go home and you're going to get your little brother and you're going to bring him to me. And to make sure that you come back, I'm going to keep Shimon. I'm going to keep one of your brothers. So if you don't come back, well, who knows what's going to happen to him. And he sends them back and he fills their bags and he returns the money that they paid for the food, right? So he fills their bags, he gives them food, he takes the money and then has the money placed back in the saddlebags or whatever they had. The brothers return. They go back and they convince Jacob to send Benjamin because, you know what? we've already lost one brother. We don't want to lose Shimon. And Joseph welcomes them and gives them a meal, but he sets a trap. He says, all right, you guys can go back, but he puts a silver cup in Benjamin's bag. And as they're leaving, it's discovered. And he says, well, is this how you repay kindness? I hold up my end of the deal and you steal from me? Well, you know what? I'm done and you guys can go home, but I'm keeping Benjamin. And that's where the Parsha ends. It's a cliffhanger. What's going to happen? And, we still have a couple of more Parshiot with Joseph and his brothers. So I can't wait to see what happens.
We have to come back.
Got to come back. It's like those old cliffhangers, right? In the theaters back before I was even a glimmer in anybody's eye, right? That they would play these serials at the beginning of the movies, and then Harry Houdini did a number of them in the silent world, and you'd have to come back to see what happened to the Lone Ranger, or I don't know. I don't know how they did it. All right. So it's the first of the month, both on the Hebrew calendar and the secular calendar. And usually we do Ask the Rabbi, but because it's Hanukkah, I thought, other things that I wanted to talk about, and we'll pick up with Ask the Rabbi next week. So if you have any questions, you can email them to me. But, this time of year, I get nostalgic. All right, I don't get nostalgic a lot, but I do sometimes get nostalgic. And I think it's the early sunsets and the chilly mornings that remind me of, growing up in the mountains of Northeast Pennsylvania. Right. So the cross country season is over. Right. So I don't play winter sports. So just getting ready for winter and, the fun weather that would show up. And when I was a teenager, I had one of the best jobs in the world. I worked at a movie theater. I was an usher. And, this was amazing because not only did I get to see every movie that came out for free, I got to eat my weight in popcorn. All right. And so, this was a great, great job. And this particular theater on the weekends would run midnight movies. Now, if you've never been to a midnight movie, you are missing one of the great joys in life. And I suggest you find a theater that has one and go. We ran every week. It was 4 movies. They started at midnight. And one of them was always Rocky Horror Picture Show, right? Which was always fun because people came dressed as their favorite characters. So it was kind of like Halloween every week. And the only downside to that was I would get home at about 3:00 in the morning on a Saturday night. And that's kind of late because I usually had to then go back for noon to work Sunday afternoons for the matinees. But I remember when I would be coming home on those late nights that when I would not into the street, make the turn to get onto the street where I lived, Pops, my dad, would always have the front porch lit for me, the front porch light. And it was a dark street. At this time, there were no other lights on in any of the houses, right? This is back in the 80s. This is before 24-hour television. This is before the internet. This was when people went to bed at respectable hours and got up at respectable hours, right? But the street was dark except for one light. And I never thought about it. I never really thought much about it. I'd see it, I'd go in, Pops had turned it on, and I would turn it off and go to bed. So during Hanukkah, I often think back on that light, right? That it's one light on a dark street. And what I realized, what that meant, right? Of course, it was my dad making sure that I didn't go into the wrong house because, I was not always paying attention when I was growing up, but it told me that I was expected, that somebody knew I was coming, that I wasn't forgotten, that light meant that, hey, we're leaving this on, so you know we're expecting you. And that light, especially, in the last month, I observed 2 yard sites. In the beginning of November for my best friend who took his own life 2 years ago at the age of 53. And then 2 weeks ago, it was my dad's 11th yard site. And so I think about, the lights that they brought into my world. And, that's where I get nostalgic. But now it's Hanukkah. And I think that Hanukkah is a perfect time. It falls at a perfect time. There's no accident that it takes place during the darkest and sometimes coldest months of the year. November, sometimes it's in December. But the lights are there for us. And it starts with one candle. But that one candle brings us light. That one candle can bring us warmth. And while we light the candles, that's the big mitzvah, right? But the reason we light the candles isn't just so we can keep them in our kitchens and just look at them. We're to publicize the miracle. And we're not just to publicize it for ourselves, but it's to let everybody know that the darkness isn't total. That one candle, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles, the light is meant for everybody. And so, the rabbis teach us that souls are like candles. Our soul is like a candle. That some souls burn bright for a long time. And some burn bright only for a short time. But whether it's long or short, whether our souls are in this world for 120 years or 20 days, both bring light to us and to the world. And so Hanukkah reminds me, and it should remind all of us of this, that we should recognize the light of our own soul and what it brings to the world and the light of other people's souls. And not just now, not just during the 8 days of Hanukkah, but each and every day of the year. And so may we be reminded, may the remainder of our festival be filled with light and laughter, and most of all, love. Shabbat Shalom, Chodesh Tov, and Chag Sameach. All right, it is time for Kiddush. Oh, there's our wine schlepper. I wonder if we can make you that your official title, a wine schlepper. Who knows? Vayihi erev, vayihi boker, yom hashishi, vayachulu hashamayim v'haaretz, v'chol tzivam, vayachal Elohim bayom hashvi, melachto asher asa, vayishbot bayom hashvi'i, mikol melachto asher asa, vayavarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i, vayikadesh oto, Kivo Shavat Mikol Melachto Asher Bara Elohim La'asot Savri Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Borei Peri Hagafen Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Asher Kiddushanu B'mitzvotav V'ratzavanu V'Shabbat Kodsho Bi'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lamikra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim ki banu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta Mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. L'chaim. We are going to start closing out our Friday night service, our Shabbat evening service, with Aleinu, page 282. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latei kedula liotzer reshit, Shelo asanu kagoye haratzon, velo samanu k'mishpachot adama, Shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gohor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Shehu notesh shamayim v'yoser haaretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim imal, u'shlinatu zo, v'gov hei meromim, u'Eloheinu einod, emes malkeinu efes ulato, kakaju v'torato, V'yadata hayom v'hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim imal v'al haaretz mitachat ein od.
ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. We continue observing the Shloshim for Ben Dolan. This week we observed the following yahrzeits: Robert Cohen, Eve Feinberg's brother; Jack Katzeff, Joan Weisberg's uncle; Stephen Jacobson, Paul's father; Benjamin Lazar, Maxine Frankel's father; Alice Currand, Harold's mother; Max Neckin, Esther's husband; Morton Turetsky, Tori Witcher's stepfather; Sidney Jaroslav, Belle Winston's father; Helen Lipfield Siegel, Alan's mother; James Secunda, Rosalind Firestein's father. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May their memories be a blessing to us always, and may they all rest in peace. At this time, we turn to page 294, Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Bialmad, Divrach, Hirute, Biamlik, Malchute, Bechayechon, Viomechon, Uchaye, Dechol, Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, Uvizman, Kari, Vimru, Amen. Yehe, Shmei, Rabbah, Yivarach, Lelam, Alamel, Maya, Yitbarach, Vishtabach, Vitpar, Vitromam, Vitnase, V'yithadar, v'yithaleh, v'yithalal, shmei dekudesha, brichu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiram v'alma v'imru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom v'imrumav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. All right, friends, before we turn to page 321 for Adon Olam, a couple of quick announcements. Services tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and then again on Sunday morning led by David at 9 a.m. Sunday afternoon, we have I know it's like two in a row. We have an adult ed class, let my people know, and this is the Rebbe's Hanukkah. So I'm going to bring in some teachings from the Hasidic Rebbe's who really see Hanukkah as a spiritual holiday. And so there's always great wisdom there. So please tune in. That's 3:00. And then at 6:30, I'm sorry, tomorrow night at 6:30. Additionally, we're lighting the Chanukkiot, so tune in to Zoom. And then Sunday night at 6:30 for the last night, for the 8th night of Hanukkah, we will join together on Zoom. So tomorrow night and Sunday night at 6:30. Monday night is, of course, our deep dive into Genesis, and things are getting wonderful. We're we just talked about the second chapter, some of the commentaries. We're going to do the third chapter, some of the commentaries, and we're getting ready to start the Cain and Abel story. So that is a deep, deep story. And then Wednesday night, get your Yiddish on, get your song on. It is Yiddish Choir, 7 p.m. on Zoom, brought to you by Scott and Tam. And then we're back next Friday night, and it's just a plain Shabbat. Not just a plain Shabbat, it is Shabbat. No Rosh Chodesh, no Hanukkah, just a plain, quiet, wonderful Shabbat. So we are open. Please come and join us. Friday nights, Shabbat morning, Sunday morning, right? We'd love to have you. So, all right, let's close out. Page 321, Adon Olam. Adon Olam Asher Malach, B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra, liet nasa bechefso kol, azai mehelek shemo nikra, v'acharei kichlot hakol, levahado imloch nohora, vehu haya, vehu hoveh, vehu yihye b'tifara, vehu echad v'ein sheni, להמשילו להכבירה, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה, והוא אלי וחי גואלי, וצור חבלי בעת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא, בידו אפקיד רוחי, V'yeti shan v'yahira, v'yimruchi geviyati, Adonai li v'lo hira. All right, let's see who says hello to us via the interwebs this Shabbat, Rosh Chodesh, and Hanukkah evening. We have up from Mom, Shabbat Shalom to all and happy Hanukkah from Rabbis Mom and Cliff. Thanks, Mom, and same to you and Cliff. Melanie Samuels from the Holy City of Brooklyn. Good Shabbos and happy Hanukkah to all. Thank you, Melanie. Same to you. And the little kitty, ML and Herman Glazer, wishing all a good Shabbat and a happy Hanukkah. Thank you to the Glazers. Patty and Malloy from the Holy City of Brooklyn. Oi, got all my times messed up. Waiting for prayer to be done. Thought I was actually going to be early. Well, better late than never. Good Shabbos, everyone, and happy sixth night of Hanukkah. Same to you, Patty Ann, and to Aaron, my favorite blondie. All right, everyone, have a great Shabbat, a Shabbat Shalom, and a good Shabbos, a Chodesh Tov, and a Chag Sameach. Be careful out there, and we'll see you all soon.